Okay, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how Spectate can create an IVR, an interactive voice response menu, which is a fantastic feature. You've used them in the past. It's one of those phone menus where you'll hear press 1 to do this, press 2 to do that, press 3 to do something else. So we can make IVRs for both incoming calls, outgoing calls, and on all of the different options within the menu system, we can, take all kinds of actions. So I'm going to show you how to do it right now. If you navigate into our left-hand navigation and choose the IVR section, you'll see here in our IVR list that this account currently has none. So we're going to create a new one with a button up top and give it a descriptive name, training demo IVR. And a description. The input type will remain numeric input so that the system knows to listen for key presses from the user. And all IVRs begin with a piece of audio explaining what the different options and key presses will do. If you have already recorded such a piece of audio, you could upload it by selecting the file on your local computer, or you can use the inline widget right here and record right through Spectate. So I've got a little script that I will record here. Hi, thanks for calling us. To hear a list of our departments, press 1. To be connected to a live sales agent, press 2. To hear our mailing address and hours of operation, press 3. To send an SMS to our support team, press 4. Or to be removed from our list, press 5. Here we go. And now that audio can be played back right here if you like. Hi, thanks for calling us. To hear a list of our departments, press 1. And after testing that, I'll hit done. And now you'll see that our top level menu is done. Of course, if we left it here, it'd be an awfully boring IVR. So I'm going to hit the plus button to build out the first option. See, here it is. Input number 1, when the user presses number 1. And if you recall, option number 1 was to hear a list of our departments. So again, at the top, you're going to have a piece of audio, which can either be pre-recorded and uploaded, or you can use the widget here. For the sales department, press 1, and for the support department, press 2. And essentially, what this is building out a second menu, a second tier of menu systems. So that's where I'm going to choose as the IVR input type this menu icon, and I'm going to hit done. And now you can see that this option number 1 has a plus button of its own so that I could begin building out the options below that. But before I get ahead of myself, I'm going to continue building out the top level items. So option number 2, again, if you'll recall from our earlier recording, is to be connected to the sales department. So when they press 2, I'm going to play this audio for them. Okay, I'll connect you right away to our sales department. And now, as the input type, I'm not going to choose menu, I'm going to choose call forward. And this is where you're going to enter in the telephone number of whatever the agent is that you are going to connect the lead to. So whatever that person's phone number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, you'd put their real phone number here. Optionally, we have something called a call whisper, which is a helpful tool for your sales team. I'll activate that. This is going to give your salesperson, the person who is reached at this phone number, a little bit of context about what the heck this phone call is about. So Whisper can either be delivered as a recorded audio or a piece of text that our system will pronounce. So if I went with the first option, audio, and recorded something here with our tool, it could be something like, hey, you've got an incoming call from our sales desk. Now, if a lead, let's say it was Susie Homebuyer, were to dial our IVR, and after hearing the first menu, she pressed 2, what would happen would be she would hear this introductory audio, and then the phone would start ringing on our salesperson's hand, and the salesperson, when they pick it up, would hear this piece of audio, just giving them a heads up that they've got a call from the sales department, and then it would bridge the two parties into an actual live telephone conversation. So a call whisper with a recorded audio will say whatever this audio piece is. Alternatively, or even additionally, you can choose to send a call whisper which is of text type, and this is where you can customize a little bit greater than you could with an audio one. So let's say you actually knew who the lead was. The lead's name is, and then you can use these merge fields, F name, L name. So if a recognized contact who is in your database calls your IVR system, and after hearing this first menu dials 2, they're going to hear the intro audio for menu 2. The phone is going to begin ringing in our salesperson's hand, and the salesperson is going to hear this introductory call whisper, and then they're going to hear in the system's software voice, kind of like a Siri or an Alexa, it's going to say the lead's name is, and it will pronounce, Susie Homebuyer or whoever that contact is. And then the system would connect the two parties, and they'd have a live conversation. So I'll hit done, and now you can see that number 2 is built out, and it's a call forwarding option. All right, let's do option 3 now, which you might recall is a very straightforward and simple one. It's to hear the mailing address and hours of operation. So I'll record that now. Our mailing address is number 1234 Main Street, and our hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Feel free to not visit because this is all fake. Okay, so now that piece of audio will play when they press 3. And as an input type, I'm going to select endpoint because nothing further happens at this point. They're just hearing that audio, and then it's a dead end. It's all done. So I'll hit done, and now you can see input 3 is in there. Let's do the 4th one, which number 4 is to send a text message on to somebody. So again, I will record a piece of audio here. Okay, we'll send a priority SMS to our sales team and let them know that you need to speak to someone. So I set expectations by recording that audio there. And now we're going to scroll down a little bit to the 5th option, which is send an SMS message. And this is where we're going to put in the actual message that they're going to receive. So let's say something like a caller wishes to speak with you. This is a text message that will get sent to your agent. And this is where you're going to enter that agent's phone number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Whatever the actual phone number is would go there. Now, optionally, you could use these merge fields once again to say, what the caller's name is. If this is indeed a recognized user contact that's in our system, it will pronounce that person's name, or rather, it will text that person's name. It will substitute the first and last name into that text message. You can also send an SMS to the caller. So this sort of acts like a receipt. Something along the lines of, okay, our sales team was sent an SMS and will be in touch shortly. And now that, I misspelled that word. Now that the expectation has been sent that the SMS that they're going to respond via SMS, I guess I should scroll back up here to the message that I'm sending my salesperson and say something like, please respond to them via SMS so that they are responding on the appropriate channel. And I'll hit done. Now, because I've got a limited sized monitor that I'm recording on, this option is actually going to cascade. It's gonna move down here to the bottom, but you could drag that around if you wanted to and reorganize things to your heart's content. My screen doesn't allow that, so I'll just leave it right there. All right, now our fifth option, if I add it here, was to be removed from our system. So I will record. Okay, no problem. We'll remove your number from our list. And now we're going to use this Fire Actions option, which was present previously. We just didn't use it before now. This is where you could do any of a number of things. You could, of course, add or remove people from campaigns, add them to a zap. You could trigger Zapier actions in other apps altogether. You could move them or copy them among different lists, or you could outright delete the contact. Actually, probably best practice is not to delete them outright, but to move them to a list that I've created called Do Not Contact, which lets your sales team know that we're not going to contact this person in the future, but at the same time it preserves this person in your database so that should they ever contact you, you know who they are. So this is actually what I prefer rather than deleting them. But and then the final step is to select an input type, and this is an endpoint, so nothing further is going to happen. I will choose this first option and hit done. So there are all 5 of our top level items. Now I could go in and build out the second tier of menu options that came under this first one. I think this was a list of our departments. Press 1 for sales. Okay, I will connect you with the sales department right away. And just as we did before, I could choose the forward and I could enter in the person's phone number, etc. I'm just going to, purposes of this demo, make it an endpoint, hit done, and scroll down and put the final option in here for number 2. All right, I will connect you to our support department. And you'd put in the support department's telephone number in the forwarding option. But I'm going to make it an endpoint for purposes of this brief demo. So there you have it. There's the full IVR in its structure. Now, if we wanted to use this IVR, there's a whole number of ways that we could initiate use of it. So if I go to one of our lists, and here from the list I could choose one or more. We could choose all of these people and choose to make a phone call to them and choose a IVR as the type of phone call. And then select from them among the lists. We only have 1 in our list currently, but if you had more than 1 created, this list would populate with all of them. And select the outgoing phone line, the Twilio line that you were going to be making this call from. And you could either do it immediately, and it would go right down your list and send it to all the different people I've checked, or you could schedule it for a future time, later on in the calendar. Of course, you always have to check off that you have permission to contact these people, just for compliance reasons. And if I were to go ahead and click the call button, it would go right down the list and call all these people and deliver that IVR. I'm not going to do that to all those people right now, but I guess I could. You can also click on an individual contact and either schedule it, schedule an IVR call to them right here. I could select the IVR, or initiate it, via the, very many other routes as well. We can also use that IVR as our incoming menu. So when new calls come to us, they'll hear that IVR. So you start by going over to your number configuration and choosing the Twilio line that you want to configure. Let's do our training demo line. We'll press our gear icon for that. Right now, this Twilio line is not configured to receive incoming voice calls. It's configured for incoming text messages with an autoresponder, and you can learn about that in a different video. But if I wanted to activate incoming calls and then choose as our handler an IVR, it will then give us a list of all the IVRs we've created, and we have only one, of course. And I'll hit save. And now any incoming call to this Twilio line will immediately dump them straight into that menu that you heard a moment ago. All right, and that's it. That's how IVRs work, both outgoing and incoming. And I'm sure you'll come up with all kinds of creative uses for them.